Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I've designed a honeycomb style paper pop-up snowman to go inside of your cards. It's really cool to do and it's got a lot of dimension in there. You've got like little floaty twiggy arms there and everything, so it's a really cool little project to do. I've allowed a 1/4 inch spine on my card. I think it's advisable because there's quite a bit of bulk. I used 120 GSM paper, so it's not too flimsy, so it's giving me a little bit of bulk. So it's not quite 1/4 inch, but you know, you can measure the bulk of the stack that you decide to do. Now you can make this snowman just by drawing a snowman and copying what I'm going to do, but I've given you the design on the front, the artwork on the inside, and all of the bits that go with it, which I can show you. So it's optional to buy, but you'll be able to make it exactly as this for £1.99 in Ko-fi and Etsy, and I'll put the links in the description and I'll just show you what you get with that. So first of all, you're going to get your instructions. Tells you how to print. Now I design all of my, if you haven't seen me before, to work on A4 and US letter, so you just have to cut down the card accordingly. So this is your instructions that you're going to get. Then you get your snowman with all the little bits that you need, and then some more snowmen because there's 11 in there. You also get, this is A4 cut down at the end because I wanted it to be 11. It just looks better on the front, so otherwise you've got too much of a white border here, so I just cut it down, but that's optional as well. So this is your US letter. This is not photo card, so you can see that the colour is completely different. But what you do is you pop it in your printer, you let it print out, you flip it over, and then you print the inside. So you get the inside picture. The dark shadow there is where you place your snowman, so he's got a little bit of a shadow underneath him, and that's what you get. So you're going to get all of these little bits and pieces to make your snowman. So let's get started and put it all together. So what you're going to need first of all are your snowmen cut out. So I've gone ahead and cut my snowmen out, and it does tell you on the instructions all the order of the way to do all of this. Okay, so you cut them all out, and then what I've done with all of them is colour on the back, and I do tell you to do that. So what happens is when you put these together in the end, if you've got your snowman cut a little bit different to the other, imagine if that was white, you're going to see white. So when you open it up, it won't be all black, there'll be flashes of white. So I highly recommend that you just colour in the back, get a scrap bit of paper, colour in the back of these snowmen all around the edge like that. And you can see I've done it quite randomly. It adds a bit of darkness to the outside because it's bled through the paper, but that just gives shadow, so I'm not at all worried about that. So get yourself 11 snowmen first of all and do that. And I've also got there, obviously, that's my carrot. That's what you cut out of the sheet as well, which is here. Let me show you. So you get your carrot and you get your twig arm and your snowman. So that's all you've got to do with that one. And I'm going to give you a tip on how to do the twigs arms when we get there. I don't want to get too far ahead. So when you've got your 11 snowmen, what you do is the first stage is to fold them all in half. This one's been glued down. They all might have been actually. Those 3 have. I've gone ahead and done some, so you're not waiting around for ages for me to glue these together. So I've got a stack of 3 there and 3 loose ones just to get started and show you how to do it. There's going to be some more there. So what you do is you fold them all in half. You cut them all out, colour in the back, fold them all in half, and then we go through and we do our gluing. So what you do on the first stage is you put a glue line, and you can, if you want to, I'm going to zoom in a little bit, but you can, if you want to, make yourself a little template to show where the glue goes so it's all in line. So if you do like a little mark there, a little mark there, and a little mark there if you want, but I do it all haphazardly because I don't think it matters. It doesn't really, if you're a perfectionist you might want to do this, but I don't. So it does show you on the instructions where you put your glue. If it's going to come out of the bottle, I just got to put a pin in that, and you're just going to the problem with my glue, I've squashed it like now, and I've got a really horrible nozzle on the end, so you want to have a nice nozzle. You can download some into one of these little like type bottles that you get. The reason I'm not using it is I've glued my pin inside of it. Madness. So I'm just going to go along there. So you just put a line of glue from the spine and you're just going to do all of the centre like that, and then just pop it down. So you've got 1, 2, 3 places that it's glued on each of these snowmen. I do believe these are glued shut, so we'll put that in that pile and come back to it, because it might be, it takes a second or so depending on the paper you're using to make that work. So I'm going to do it again here. 1, 2, 3, and you can see it's not going to be in the same place, and it doesn't matter now. When I glue them together, just make, when you fold them actually, when you're folding these snowmen in half, when you fold it over, roll it over, and then put your fingernail in there, and then pinch at the back. Fingernail in there, pinch at the back, and then in there. And then what that does is, then you've got all these little pinches along the back line, and just run your fingernail, ruler or something along there, and then your snowman will be completely in half. And from my cutting, you can see that side, there's a bit of white showing through it. Doesn't matter, don't worry about that. The thing is, with the hat, it would show, which is why I get you to colour it, because it would show white, definitely. So if you're making your own snowman template shape, then obviously you don't have to have a black hat. It's entirely up to you. And the other thing, I designed the front of the card on the snowman to make it so that you could put a banner across it, which I thought would be really cool, so it looks like he's holding a banner. Let me show you what I mean. So you could put a banner there, so it could be a name or just Merry Christmas, Season's Greetings, things like that. So that's why I did his arms out like that. I thought it was quite cute. And when you open the card, it looks like he's giving you a hug. Get a snowman hug for Christmas. So again, along here, 1, 2, 3, and then this is why I did some in advance, because we didn't want to be waiting for me to do this all of the time. One more, and then what we're going to do on 2 of the snowman, and in the instructions we refer to the snowman as number 5 and number 7. Okay, and that's because of the stack order that they go in when we start stacking them up. So we've got all of our snowmen now should be glued. If they're not, I'll have to go back and do it, but I'm pretty sure I've done them all now along there. So with snowman 5 and 7, we want to pop an eye on them. So you're not going to be able to put, because it's a pop-up card, when there's a pop-up, everything has to be, you know, level. So if you've got something going that way, it's not going to work. It's just going to get squashed when you shut the card. So what I've done is, with 2 of them, let me just show you. So where the card is glued is there, okay? So it's glued to there, and it's glued to there. Now the snowman with the carrot, his nose goes just under that glue line, and we want the eyes to go on the glue line, and we want that to be a little bit of extra glue in there to make sure that the eye is fully closed. So I'm just going to pop some glue down, and just, this is only on 2 of them. I'm picking it up with a little tool, and it's just like, just that, these 2 just have a little bit of extra glue to make sure that the eye is closed. If the eye's not closed, if you can imagine that's been coloured, it will be a V shape. So when the card's open, in its open state, when you open the card up, the eye will look a funny shape, so you don't want that. So just a little bit of extra glue, so sort of like you can see probably the shadow. So you've gone along and then made sure that that little bit's got a little bit extra on there. And we're just going to do that with 2. So just pick up another little bit of glue, go down to that open line. This one's quite a bit more open. Put a bit of glue right up to the edge along there, and squash that closed and hold it down for a second. Okay, so these are snowman 5 and snowman 7. How did I just do that? I just pulled the end of my pokey tool out. Could have hurt myself there. So now we've done that, hopefully the glue's dry enough. Take a permanent marker. Now the reason you use permanent is whenever you're using glue, it's usually water based. So if it's not a permanent marker, which are alcohol based, as soon as you touch it, glue onto it, it's going to smudge, go on your card, wreck the snowman's face, it's going to ruin it. So now all we want to do is, so you've got that you know where that halfway line is, roughly. still on a piece of card. So just go in and just hold your pen, because it's going to bleed because it's paper, and just hold your pen and let it create the eye. Can you see it's just bleeding? And what that'll do is go through to the other side. I mean, that's a fine nib, and it's come out that big because I held it on long enough. When you turn it over, you can see where it is, and you need to, if you can, then just go along the front edge like that and let it bleed onto the other side there, so you can see where it is, and then get the eye bleeding the same way like that. So you can see now you've got an eye on either side. If one side's a bit bigger than the other, by all means go back in, move your pen over, flatten it out a little bit, get it to be the same. You want them to be the same. Made it quite big now, a big eye. And then with the other one, if you turn it over that way and kind of line them up, but don't let them touch, if you know what I mean. Get them close so you can see where you went, so the eye will be in the same place. So when you open the card, and I need the pen to be facing that way. I'm going to remove that out of the way. Now I've got a rough idea of where it's going. I'm going to hold my pen down and roll it a bit. Get it on the other side. See that the eye's there. And hold my pen down, hold it a little bit. And then we've got our eyes. So they're going to be very similarly placed. So we've got two snowmen with eyes. There's Snowman 5 and 7. And then this is going to be like the middle snowman, and it has to go in the middle, and it's the one with the carrot. So you print out your carrot. Now I coloured the back of the carrot as well with just an orange pen. And then you're going to fold it in half, which is really easy to do because it just wants to go there like that. Now with this one, we're going to put a dab of glue on the outside. So where the where's my pokey tool gone? My little pointer tool. So these are open in here because we've only glued, don't forget, the centre of the, see it opens there. Now it's not overly important where the glue goes, but you want it, you know, bearing in mind the eye's there, we're going to just put a dab a bit lower than where the eye would be, so it's almost like right on the glue line where it joins like that. So just 2 dots of glue, it's probably a little bit too much. And then we're going to take the nose, and there is a darker side and a more pointy side, so with the straight side down so that you get the shape of the carrot going downwards. Just going to pop that either side so it's going over. Oops, it's got going anywhere. I should have used tweezers, shouldn't I? Been easier to show you. So talk about awkward. Turn it out the right way. So I'll pop one side down like that. Oops, can't do it. Should have used tweezers and big fat nails. Pull it out a bit because you want to see the carrot quite a bit. So pull it out, flip it over, and then you can fold it back over to the other side of the snowman. And what you've done is you've just sort of like pinched the nose, and you can make it level. Pinch the nose onto the snowman. So this is Snowman 5, this is 6, and this is 7. So if you stack those up like that, that's the order they're going to go in on the stack. I keep forgetting I'm sitting down, sorry. So what I did was I already did 3, didn't I? So we'll put those on at the end. So that's Snowman 5, 6 and 7, so I need to put 4 together, and then I've got 3, and then I'll do the final one. So you can stack them all up and glue them already and things like that. So what we're going to do, this is the next stage. So it tells you on the instructions for the next stage. You put some glue across the top and the brim of the hat. So like we went down the centres of the 3 snowballs that made up the snowman. Now we're going, and it does show you on the instructions where to put it. And then between, so where that point goes in, we put a line of glue there. Between that one, a line of glue there. And then all across the bottom like that. And then we pop our next one onto it. And you don't want to mess about, you know, move it around because you'll spread the glue. You won't get so much honeycomb if you spread the glue too much. So get it into place, and then again you can go back and use your thumbnail just to get those points in. Make sure it's top and bottom quite level. You can shift it a little bit while the glue's drying, and then just push down. And then when you're just literally going to stack them up. So again, top, brim, between those two snowballs, and across the bottom, like that. Bring in your next one. This is number 3. Make sure that you only do 4. Pop your thumb in there, or a pokey tool, anything you've got. Make sure it's levelish, top and bottom. Give it a squash. Now number 4. Same thing. So it's going to go on there. So you should put the glue on the stack, and then you won't go wrong. You could put it on the wrong side. Practice what I preach. There we go. So come right to the edge. And there's quite, I don't know if you can see, I don't want the glue to go off on me, but there's quite a bad line up there with my cutting and folding. So that's why we coloured the hat. I know I keep saying it, but if you don't colour the hat and you colour it all out and you go, oh, I wish I coloured that. Trust me, I did it. It's the first one I do. That's why I do these mistakes, so you don't have to. Just make sure that all 2, 3, 4, 5 lines have been squashed like that. So now we've got, you can count, you've got 4 there, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is 5, 6 and 7. So we've got to do it in this order. So again, you're putting the glue in exactly the same place on the stack. And if you've done the wrong amount, if it's less, it's easy because you can just add one to the bottom. If you've done too many, it's a bit more tricky to solve. You might have to cut out extras and make 13, not 11. So we've got an eye. Snowman with an eye. Looks a bit weird, doesn't he? Bless him. He'll be fine. We're going to do the same thing again. Top of hat, brim, centre, bottom, carrot time. One, 2, 3, top and bottom, not too bad. And give it a squash. Like that. Then the final eye one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You don't want those lines to be too thick. I know I'm doing it quite thick. And you can see there, that's not even coming out to the edge. It would be better if it did. But you don't want it to go on any other hats as well that are not cut properly. So just be careful. You don't want to catch the ones below. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now we've got 7 on there. I hope we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 7. So that's not sticking, is it, that one there? Don't want to stick. Go on, stick. So just give it a squash because we really want them to be stuck. So that's 7. So this would be number 8, and then I've stacked 3 together so I can just plonk them all together on the top at the end. So we haven't got to watch too long. So as long as you've got those in the right place, you're good. Because if it's not in the centre, it's going to look really weird when you open the card. This one goes on. We're nearly done, guys. It won't take long now. And then these 3. Oops, see that? Really off. Just push it backwards. That one was a bit off. And you can see there it's off as well. That's my cutting or folding. And it won't show. Trust me, it will not show. This glue. I think it's getting a bit dry. Get a pin again. Just go in with a pin in the end. Get it flowing. Down through there. There. And there. Now, you need to allow for this to dry, but time wise I'm not going to be able to let it completely dry. I'm going to pop it into the card blank. So with the card, if you're doing US, it's 8.5 by 11, so you can see this one's taller, much taller, but it doesn't matter about the front. You're going to just have a wider white border top and bottom. I might have to zoom out a bit. So you've just got a wider border than you have on the A4, and it's vice versa with the A5. So I've cut my A4 I've cut down, and you just want to take 3/8 of an inch off of each side, 3/4 of an inch, so you've got to even it up. So once you've printed it, just take a little strip off of each end, and then you're going to do a score line at 5 3/8 and 5 5/8. So 5.5 would be centre of the card, but you're going to go 1/8 of an inch either side to give you that spine, and then fold them up. So when it's stacked, it looks like that, but when you've got that bulk of this snowman inside of it, you'll appreciate that. Now, if you don't, what I'm saying is, if you don't have that and it's flat, when you start rubbing that down, because it's a bulk, it will put a dent into your card. Now, if you want it to be flat, that's fine, but you will have a dent there. But what you can do is print this out again, or not print it, just print the inside and make it, and then print this on a separate sheet, and then put some like mirror card or something behind it, and make it a topper on the front of the card. And you know, don't forget to use your snow, your glitters, put a banner on there, really jazz it up, some ribbon, all sorts of things, and lovely, you know, sparkly bits on it. It'd be great. But I'm just showing you what you get. So this is what you get. How you embellish it will make it a lot better. So with this, obviously this is going to fit in the spine now, as you can see. That's why I've allowed that bulk, for that to fit in there nicely. So what you want to do is one side or the other. It doesn't really matter which one you do. So you just get your spine, and it's going to sit, this is the dark shadow for the snowman to sit on, so it's going to sit within that shadow. And see this spine here, it's going to go up to the spine, and then that'll wrap round, and then that will close. Now I like to do the bottom one first, because it's just easier to do, because the card's not closed. Because on the second one the card's closed and you can't see what you're doing, and it will just fall where it's meant to fall. So just coat the bottom side of your snowman, and if you've got any errors, make sure you don't go on the carrot, make sure you don't catch one of the other hats. It's just got to be this outer edge of this particular snowman that you've got to do, and you want to put lots of glue all along there and smear it all down like so. You get that all over it. It's got, this is going to be what, you know, when the card opens, this is going to expand. So it's going to take a bit of a battering, so just make sure you've got enough on there. Grab your snowman, stack, got glue everywhere now. Pop it down in the shadow, up to the spine, and that one as well. Now this is your opportunity to get this one to set. So give that a good old push down on here. You can rub it down while the card's open and flat. Just give it a good old push down. That any of the other glue that I've just done, it'll help get that glued together as well. We're just going to get that all nice and squashed. Now the card has no option now, like you have no option where the front's going to go. You have got manoeuvrability because it's not stuck to the spine. So when you pull this over, we're going to put glue on it in a minute, but when you pull it over, you want to make sure that it comes right over, so that these, and you can push your thumb against it and pull that around, go together. So you want to come up, I need to fold that spine up, let's use that like that, and come over like that. And then you can close it and make sure the top, the bottom, just use your finger and thumb, are all in place, and then you can rub there gently. Don't go to this bulk edge because you'll get a line. You can rub there gently, or you can turn it over and rub. So we're going to do that now anyway. And then we'll do the arms, the twiggy arms, which I hope I haven't lost, but I probably have. So what we want to do now is pop glue all over. Can you see? You can see some of the other snowmen underneath, so don't catch them. And again, we want to coat every part of it with glue all around like this. And you do want to smear it out. Now if you don't smear it out, you'll probably get lines on the front of your card, because with PVA it will, like acrylic paint, it will, if you leave it to dry and in a bulky state, it will dry bulky. So make sure you smooth it all out. And then we're going to do the closing the card for real. We're going to make sure that these corners match up like that, and that's where we want it, so we just give it a rub down. And while we do the twigs, we're going to let that sit and dry. Give that a squash as well, both sides. Just make sure it's okay. Just set that aside and let's do our twigs. So when you cut out your twigs, you might find, like this is just paper, like I say, I'll use 120, that they're just a little bit flimsy to sit in the card. And you also want them to be double-sided in colour. So what I do is, if I turn this over, it's quite distracting, is I can see where that is. Now if you're worried that you're going to colour the carrot and you don't want the carrot to be coloured, I've given you extras anyway, just cut that one out, lay it down on there and then colour the back of it, because if you're going to be doing a back to back then you want it to be coloured in. I've used a different colour pen but it doesn't matter. I've already done those. So this is the way, the best way to get the, when you're doing back to back twigs, it can be a little bit tricky and fiddly. So what we're going to do is colour the back of it first. I missed a bit there. Come out to the edge a bit more. With the permanent marker again, don't forget. Sharpies are permanent as well, just not a water base. Can't pick that up. There we go. Get out of the way. So now what we're going to do is, can you see how I've cut that one and I've not cut it into all the fingers and things because it'd be really hard to glue together. Okay, so cut around it. Now that you've got it out, and cut around it. Do the arm part if you like, and then just come up the side of the thumb if you like. We'll call it a thumb and two fingers, and then do a straight line to the top of that one, and then do a straight line to the top of that one, so it looks like a webbed foot at the minute, and then come off of there and go around. Pen's still a bit wet on the paper, but should be okay to glue, and go to there. So now we've got opposites. Yeah, so where we've got our opposites, we can now glue those together. So we're just going to put glue onto the back of one, and I'm not going to do all of the glue. I'm just going to do this end bit to start with, or I'll get in a right old mess. So just going to do this end bit, cover the whole thing, and then back to back, so you want the coloured bit on the inside. We're going to be able to match that by pushing it together. Now if they were all separate little tiny pieces, it would be really, really tricky, but you can squash it together now because it's all lined up. So once you've got them lined up, this part would be easy. So you can split that open again, pop some glue inside, and then all this is doing is giving you the design on both sides, but more importantly it's giving it a bit of strength as well, because one bit of flimsy paper might get a bit floppy. If someone's got a bit of a you know, humidity in their home, then it may not stand the distance. So you should really wait for that to dry, and then you can go in easier, and you could just cut around these now that they're dry. They might move because they're still wet, but when you do that, you can have exactly the same on both sides. So it's just a cool little tip. These are only sliding because the glue's wet, so the papers are opening up still. But you can see by doing that, you've got the same on both sides, and it was much easier than trying to glue those two together if you're doing back to back. So there's a little tip for you on that one. I've got two that are the same colour here because I used a different colour on the back. So I've got two of the same colour, and hopefully our card's dry now that we can just sweep the twig up. We can pop these into the card. Fiddly. I wish I'd got some tweezers out. I bet you're thinking the same. I wish you had, Sarah. So now this is the card. So we open it up. You can hear it all, because this is don't forget, this is the first time it's open, so that's what all that cracking is, like it's coming apart. And then if bits are a little bit stuck together, you can give them a little bit of a hand to split and open like that. Get your honeycomb open, but you can see the eyes that you did and the carrot are all in the right place, or in the middle. So if they were over here, it'd look strange, possibly. So I'll just do it that way. So what I'm really interested in is this side here. This one here is where I'm going to put the arms. So you've got the one that's, and that would open there. I always find the edge ones don't really ever want to open. I think there you can see it opens a little bit, but it don't really want to, so I'll just leave it. I'm not going to force it. So we've got that bit there, and we've got that bit there, and that's where we're going to put the arms. Now it's up to you where you put yours. I like to put glue onto the back. And if you want an idea, you can go onto the front and see how I've done them on the front. You can see like that. Now, I have cut them quite long. They are quite long so that you can put them wherever you want. So I'm going to cut mine down a little bit because I don't think I need quite that much length. So just drop just a little bit off, not a lot. 1/4 of an inch, something like that. And then just to the back, so you've got to make sure that one's going one way and one's going the other as well. So choose which side you like the look of the best. Then we'll go that way. So I'm going to have it with thumbs up in the air. And then I'm just going to do to the top part only. I should have opened that card up a bit more. Smear that down. So this is now only on the back of the arm. And it's just going to go on the back edge of that section there. So I'm going to slide it in to there. And then it's up to you how you want to display them. If you want them down or up or anything like that. So that one's going to go there. So I'm just going to get that little squash down. And then you can match the same one on the other side. Make sure it's round the right way, Sarah. Put a bit of glue just on the back part like that. Smear it out. And then pop it into the card. In the same section, same side, and you can either have one up in the air or one down or whatever you like. So it's entirely up to you. It's your card, you decide. And there you go, you've done it. You've made the card. So it's really nice and easy to do, isn't it? So that's what you get. That's how you do it. And I hope you enjoy it. So don't forget the links for the Ko-fi and Etsy are in the shop. You can open it right up, so just to stretch out that honeycomb, it will open all the way up as well, so you can push it even backwards a little bit just to get that honeycomb working, and then the card will stay more open when the recipient opens it. But yeah, a great thing, little fun project to do. So don't forget, like I said, the links to the artwork etc. are in my shops and they'll be in the description. Thanks for watching, bye.